Time to put down the coffee. Do you ever feel like you are going around in circles with your product team?
Okay, so what we're gonna do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
So what we're gonna do?
I don't know. Hey, now don't start that again!
Well, you're not alone, and today we're going to delve into some of the Agile Best Practices. These are going to be some lessons learned from some leading product teams. So buckle up, it's time to turn that chaos into a well-oiled machine.
What did I tell you?
No matter how experienced you are, there is no doubt that you will have times when you are running a new project or delivering a new product that you get stuck. You're not quite sure which way to go. I find this myself. I'm not unlike anyone else out there. And when I find this, I realise that there is something that can guide me. And you've probably seen it before. It's the Agile Manifesto. What is the Agile Manifesto? Well, simply put, it's some values and principles. You can think of it a bit like the 10 Commandments, although with fewer stone tablets and maybe often more post-it notes. Today we'll focus primarily on the values. These have saved my bacon many times. Although actually I'm vegetarian, maybe we go for some vegan friendly bacon or some other alternative. But anyway, I want to talk you through these and explain why they're so important and try and do that with a few examples or stories along the way.
Back of the net.
First up, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Imagine trying to bake a cake but with a robot. Now that robot will probably be able to follow the instructions to the T, but it doesn't taste quite as good as when Grandma makes it. Why? Because Grandma knows how to improvise, to explore, to adapt, and this is actually really important. In Agile, it is all about people, and that means truly collaborating and cooperating as a team. That doesn't mean just turning up to a daily stand-up and saying, hey, these are my updates for the day. No, you need to be open and honest with each other. You need to say, look, I'm blocked on this thing. I've worked out this much. I'm stuck here. But I think if we can work together as a team, we might be able to solve it. And that also could mean, hey, look, does anyone know anyone else that can help? Maybe to cooperate with me. I've seen the documentation. Great. I understand in principle how to do this thing, but I don't know how to do it in practice. And that is where that value is super important. Next, working software over comprehensive documentation. Picture this, you have bought a brand new gadget. You get the box, you open it up, and what's the first thing you do? Of course, you pick up the brochure and you read every single page of the documentation first. And then you maybe have a think about playing with it. No, of course you don't. At least I don't. I would be amazed if anyone out there has done that. You go and play with the gadget first. You try and see how it works. You explore it. And that is where this principle comes into play. I should be really clear here. I'm not saying documentation is not important. You do need to document, but that's not what you should value first. You should value trying to get to a minimal version of that product as quickly as possible to work out what it should do and how it should work first, and to give people access to it. Because truly, you don't know whether people are going to even value the thing or want to use it until you've given it to them, put it in their hands. And that means trying to think about how do we get to some form of this product within a few days or weeks, not months down the line after we've documented everything. Third, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. This is such an important one for me. I have written down a lot of plans for projects in the past. Maybe it's a completely new product, we're going to try something really different. And I write out a plan, this is how we're going to do this activity, and I expect it to go week by week. And off the back of that, we might write a contract. Now, as good as I am, as much as I've had lots of experience in delivering products, that plan is not going to be right. There are going to be things that we learn along the way, particularly in an innovative product, that we just didn't know at the beginning. Maybe there is a technical activity that we need to spike. We need to try and think, how will this work in practice? And it turns out that's different. Or we start the work and we do some user testing as we go, and we realize actually this feature or this need that we're trying to solve, that's not a big priority. We should iterate, we should adapt, we should work on something different. And this is where this principle is really important, because if we stuck to the contract, if we said this is the plan that we agreed on up front, let's go do that, then we're going to deliver something that is much less valuable to our customers at the end of it. It's not good for anyone involved, whether that's the team building the product or maybe the customer that is purchasing that project from you.
This is the worst.
Finally, responding to change over following a plan. Remember that time that you planned a picnic and then it rained? Oh my gosh, what did you do? You sat out in the rain and you enjoyed that picnic soaking wet. Oof, I love a wet sandwich. No, you probably did something different. You went indoors and ate that same food, or maybe you just went to a cafe or a restaurant nearby and had a different experience completely. That's what this is all about. So whether, like I used in the previous example, we talk about contracts and trying to stick to them or not, I think working out how do you iterate based on what you've learned is so important. And if you stick to that principle, I bet you'll produce something much more valuable at the end. So there you have it, Agile Best Practices from the trenches, from someone that's been there, trust me. And I think these values are super important. So let's recap. Remember, it's all about people, working software, customer collaboration, and responding to change. And if all fails, remember this: even grandma's recipe can be improved, but then only if grandma does it. Thank you for making it through this video and for watching it. I hope you got some value out of it yourself. And if you did like it, I would really appreciate it if you could give this a thumbs up or maybe even subscribe to the channel. I'm still relatively new on here. I'm experimenting with making different types of videos about being a product owner or manager. So if you like this content, please let me know so I know where to focus more. After all, Agile is all about changing and iterating, and I am trying to find whatever those secret ingredients are to make this successful.